Good morning, welcome to the Barrel Roll Newscast, December 16th, 2017.
Today on the newscast, we talk Fox and Disney.
Let's talk about the FCC for a second.
Yeah, a Pokemon Go update.
And PUBG came out of early access for the Xbox One.
Stay tuned.
The chair has enveloped me.
Whoa.
No,
Welcome, everybody.
Yes, maybe you enveloped the chair.
Welcome, everybody, to the Barrel Roll Oozecast.
News.
Ooze.
Boozecast?
No, ooze. Just
Oh
ooze.
man, we could have a Barrel Roll Boozecast and it's just us drinking.
Happy New Year!
After hours cast. Boozecast.
Ooze.
I'm up for that.
Oh, shall we get to the...
Yes,
Shall we
my
get to
name's
the
Tony.
news? I'm Nick.
I'm Chris.
You are Chris.
I'm back.
Oh, you're not. Are you chair?
No.
You're not chair.
Not chair.
Not chair.
Just chair. Part of chair.
I am chair. That seems like another game on Steam.
I am back.
Welcome.
I return.
I have returned. Either way, big news.
Yes.
Big.
Not
Actually,
sure.
this week was
Big.
been kind of all over the place. That day that this thing happened,
Thursday,
like two things happened, and I was like, and then like I just
Tony was
I,
on a roller coaster of
all
emotions.
Yeah, no kidding.
it was kind of all over the place. Should we start with
The big thing that everybody's talking
Big.
about?
Do you want? Okay, well, there's two big things.
The
Then-
big thing that everybody's really talking about.
Dude, I feel like we should save that one. Like start negative Nancy first, and then go.
It's a sandwich. Start with a good. Say good.
No,
bad.
I hate that technique. I want to punch people when they use
Okay,
that technique.
okay, there essay.
Fine.
Okay, there 1996 essay writing.
Well,
No, that's a
it's
teacher.
that's management thing. We learned that at
You say
Safeway.
something good, then you say something bad,
Yeah.
then you say something.
That's-
finish
that's-
it off with
No,
good.
no.
That's the management thing at Safeway where
I
they
could
were
care.
like,
I could be a manager.
when I was because I was working there and they're like, well, when you make a comment to someone, make sure you say something good, then something bad, then something good again. So then like a higher management person comes in and they're like, I like your wet side, and you're like, and you don't like what?
I know how this
It's
game
too predictable.
goes.
It sounds predictable.
Well, it is, because as soon as they teach you that, you know they've taught every other person in charge the same technique. So as soon as someone comes to you and goes, well, I really like what you've done right here, and you go,
But
and what would you actually like to complain about that you came over here to complain about? You can just complain about it, and I'll
You
be
never
just
come
fine.
here. You never come to see me. What is this? What is it? You only come to me when you want something.
Okay, let's start with bad news then.
Well, confusingly bad news. The FCC voted this week.
Yes.
What is it called? Federal something
I don't know,
commission.
it's the FCC.
So the American version of the CRTC.
Yes.
They voted to repeal the net neutrality rules that Obama and the previous FCC chairman had set in place.
That govern the internet in the United States of America.
So yeah, this is the big piece is that it's in America, and so they're basically handing the keys to the internet to the big businesses.
Yes.
Thinking ideally.
Well,
That's how
right
they
now
would-
the last ditch effort is
to sue the FCC.
yes, actually,
There's-
states are.
there's people suing the FCC, so like the Writers Guild is now going after the FCC. But
Certain states.
the last big government piece that
Congress.
can stop it, I believe, is like a Congress.
It's Congress because what happens?
veto.
So what happens now is now that they've voted to repeal it, they're going to bring that to Congress.
Yes.
And then that's where it'll actually take place.
Yes.
So it's not gone just yet. There's still some fight.
Then, yeah,
Not
I
a
saw
lot
it.
left.
There was a
It's-
tweet
No,
I
that-
saw
that-
some states are suing
Yeah,
too.
but it's legitimately made it past, like, it made it past one group of people, and everybody's like, okay, those 5 people are just morons. And then it moved to the next piece.
3 of those
Well, but-
5 people.
And then it moved to
morons.
like the next
Yeah.
piece, and everybody's like, it's okay, we can still handle it this, and it passes that point, and everybody's like,
Uh-oh.
Yeah, now you're. But the thing is, I've heard. Okay, I don't know much about American politics.
No.
But I had read that the U.S. Congress is starting a bill to actually declare it as a utility, the internet as a utility, straight up.
as it should be.
which is the right.
Makes sense.
In this day and age, it is. I mean,
Like,
it's
everyone's on their
makes sense.
smartphones. Everyone gets news through the internet. Print media is dead.
Well,
That's why we're here.
I would say it's dead.
It's
limited.
pretty close to dead.
I was gonna say magazines still do well.
Yeah.
Magazines, certain magazines will do well.
Yeah.
Any ones that you can find at the checkout line or
Yeah.
7-Eleven.
That's what I mean. Magazines still do okay.
Like very select magazines.
Newspaper, and you know what? Newspapers did this to themselves.
Mhm.
Like it really was, because even look at like our local newspaper, barely covers local stuff anymore.
Yeah, it's all world
Yeah.
news.
And you sit there going like,
It's because we're not excited anymore.
No. Well, if you're
like
gonna
well,
if,
and that's part of it.
if you're gonna put a paper about what happens in one city, even if it's just say, for example, New York, it's gonna be this thin.
And that's but that's okay. Like that's
Yeah.
I would buy a newspaper for that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know people who do.
We
But
do
the-
have
the-
free.
but then you have to-
papers.
We do, but I know people like we have events
Yeah.
Sure.
for certain things, like even musicians and that kind of stuff. I know a lot of those, like that group of people, and we have a jazz club that's been in the city for a
Eons.
jillion years. They're hosting this big event with this huge saxophone guy from New York City. It's actually like if you're in the jazz community, this is big.
Well, even if you look at
You
some,
call the paper and you're like, listen, this is happening. We'd like someone to come down and do a little write up. That would be spectacular. They go, we don't cover that anymore. And you go,
But he's from New York. Eh?
well, but that's what you should be covering is stuff that's actually happening
Yeah.
yeah,
here. And then they go, oh, our sales are down. Cut more staff. And you go, so yes, print media is
media is a
dying.
dying.
is dying.
So, which is why the internet is such a big utility nowadays, and so
Well, but if you think video calling, if you think all of that stuff, everything we used to use as utility, everything we used to get through the phone line,
Mhm.
we now essentially get through
And you think
the
about digital
interwebs.
as it relates to sort of our common interests. You look at digital games and digital movies; those things are only getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Like some
Yeah.
video games are like 40, 50 gigs now,
Sure.
and so
So the whole thing with
leaving that to the telecommunications providers is
Right.
really sketchy.
so the whole thing with net neutrality is then that the service providers can now go to Netflix and be like, if you don't give us a bunch of money,
Netflix should be fine because they make enough, but it's the smaller.
Well,
but it's not even that. They can start going to Netflix, and who is in debt
They are,
from trying
yeah.
to make all this stuff, and AT&T can essentially go to them and be like, you can give us $2
More.
million,
And we'll make sure your service reaches all of our
or your
customers.
service is going to go.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, they're not going to go like, give us $2 million and your service will run faster. It'll be give us $2 million and your service won't get slowed down.
Yeah.
And that's the part where
And
you
you
sit
look
there
at
going,
and you look at something a big company like Netflix, they can probably
they can probably
they can
swing
cut-
something like that.
But if you look at some smaller companies or even
They can't.
a mom and pop
Yeah.
company,
You look at something like, and I know it's not
even for us, like using us as an example, like,
We will talk really slow.
No, you got to talk really fast. So then when it slows down,
Oh,
it goes
yeah,
to regular
yeah,
speed.
I've watched that trick before.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's huge.
What's scarier is that
So
they could,
everything, our show will go scripted because we have to talk so fast.
it'll be
We
like
have
a
to
10-minute episode.
But with the new rules in place, it'll run an hour.
The even scarier part about this is how it can affect website censorship as well.
Sure.
So depending on who's lining the pockets of the telecommunicators, say the current president is funding AT&T or whatever, he can tell AT&T and go like, you can't show CNN on certain websites to
Sure.
your users.
Yeah.
No, it's big.
That is the scariest part about this entire thing.
Well, and you also try to think about something like, and someone brought it up even just for educators in the States. How many websites do students use to try and gain? That's how we gain information now.
All,
Like
yeah.
that's the thing. Like I look at my students, and I don't have to teach them what an encyclopedia is because they are useless now.
Yeah.
A dictionary is useless now.
Right. So even simple things like textbooks or not dictionaries online,
Yeah.
even Wikipedia. I'm not saying it's a
But that's
entirely
my
credible
thing.
source, but
Yeah.
it's another source of
It's
information.
a source of information that people use, that is funded by people.
It's powered by people too.
But that's the thing. If all of a sudden, again, a company goes like Comcast goes to Wikipedia and goes, okay,
Yeah.
More money.
$1 million or your website, like you won't even be able to load articles, never mind pictures.
Yeah.
Wikipedia is supposed to do what?
Yeah, and
that's people paying for Wikipedia. Like they do those donation drives all the time to
Yes.
keep Wikipedia going. And I mean,
and that's just Wikipedia. Think
Sure.
about all those other fan Wikipedias as well.
sure,
Yeah.
all the wikis out there, like
Yeah,
that's the. Well, even Reddit's like, we
Reddit,
don't-
Imager.
like, and Reddit had, like, let's face it, Reddit has some money,
It
but they're
does.
still sitting there going like, nope,
here's the thing.
the amount of traffic we get, like, nope.
Look at something Imager, which is primarily a video or not video,
Picture.
picture uploading service.
YouTube.
YouTube is massive. Like Google and Facebook are very pro
Yeah.
net neutrality.
Well, and it's I have to laugh, and this is kind of the side note, but like YouTube has power, thank goodness, but Comcast does too.
What about sites like Vimeo? What about sites?
Sure,
What
but
about,
so that's
Yeah.
the thing is you sit there going,
Or
oh,
Dailymotion or-
man, and you the power of Google with YouTube is actually pretty good. If you've
And
seen
let's
their
be-
little fight with Amazon lately,
Yeah.
like if anybody's gonna win this fight for everybody, it's Google will just be like, fine, we'll just cancel YouTube. Then what'll you do? And everybody will be like, no.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I don't want to boil this down, but what about Pornhub? You look at all those adult websites.
Some
They have
had
money.
to go there.
They have money, but I'm sorry, like that's how the internet works. Let's not split hairs.
It is
about
the
this.
only recession-proof thing out there. Let's face it. Like,
So it's like 4K porn, okay. VR porn, okay.
Yeah.
360 porn, okay. Like
Yeah.
when that industry gets
That's
behind
the VR
something.
piece.
no pun intended. But when that industry gets behind something, it gets really good. Like it goes. So.
Yeah,
Also,
that's a
to
big
their
deal.
credit, they are releasing like sexual education videos to
Yes.
help educate people on like sex
Yeah.
and all that. Like it's like, way to go, Pornhub.
What
like,
did I see the other day? I think on Friday, someone reposted a Florida man story.
oh god.
How did the title go? Florida man downloads 1 zillion zettabytes of porn because of net neutrality rules. He's afraid he won't.
There's a lot of people. They jumped in. They were like, let's start getting all of our stuff
Let's
pretty
archive
much
this stuff."
downloaded now.
It's kind of like if this stuff happens, it's
Yeah.
gonna happen quick and it's gonna happen painfully.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
a big piece. But like I said, Google. You know what? And if all of those companies do team up, because Amazon and Google have been fighting, because what happened? Amazon took Chromecast off of
Yes,
Amazon.
They just put it back on. Yeah.
Then and Google was like, okay, you guys have your own little stick that goes into the.
Yeah,
we
your own
get
Alexa.
it. Like they're kind of like, so they kind of pushed back a little bit, and then all of a sudden they started taking all the Google products off of Amazon. So like Nest thermostats went away, like all of that home stuff went away, and then all of a sudden Amazon dropped Chromecast support for Prime Video on Chromecast, and Google's like, okay, I guess your TV doesn't get YouTube anymore. Guess what's back on Amazon? But they've been having that fight, like I was reading it, they've been
Amazon
having that fight for like a year now.
Amazon has fights with many companies. Remember with Nintendo?
Yeah.
That
But
was
that's
a-
what I
that
mean.
was a
Like,
big
if
piece.
all of these companies actually get together to fight off
I was gonna say
this-
the enemy of my enemy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of the pictures I am seeing is like even all the video game companies encircled by like the, a horde of FCC people and that kind of stuff. And it's like, we will win this fight. And you're like, all right. Or you get like the Lord of the Rings thing and it's like, my bow. And like a fox symbol's up here and a Disney symbol's on the next one. And like all of that stuff's going. And you're just like,
Yeah, because if you look at the big
Disney's
movie-
trying to start a streaming service. What are like,
Disney, like Sony has their own.
you think Time Warner's going to let that happen? If they can slow their internet streaming down? Come on now.
Yeah, and
It's competition, but it affects the consumer. Really.
And that's the piece. If
'Cause
it
if
affects the consumer adversely, it should
Because-
not be happening.
Because
Yeah.
if a person can't, stably download or stream videos, they're not going to use that service.
Correct. So yes, and you're affecting the consumer who wants to actually consume this product.
I'm willing to give you money,
Right.
but I'm not going to give the big corporations their money. Well, not
The other
other-
I'm not paying
the
6
evil-
corporations just to watch one movie.
I'm not going to do it for one video game.
I'm paying Disney to watch a Disney movie, and then I have to pay Warner Brothers in time because they're the ones who control my internet in my area. Like,
yeah.
no. And thankfully here in Canada,
The silver lining
Safe.
about this all, well,
Ish.
one silver lining, in the CRTC for Canada
yes,
has recently come out again saying, no, the internet is, don't worry,
Mm-hmm.
your internet's fine up here. It is a utility. We recognize it as as suchly. But
and we are working on specifically making sure that sticks.
But the problem with and that's fine. That's good and fine. But if it goes south, down south, that affects the rest of the world.
It does, because their servers are down there. We're trying to access theirs, so we do have to run through
certain
lines. But at the same time, a lot of those companies are going to leave the States.
I was just going to say, like, they're going to go to Canada, go to Asia, go to Europe. Other countries
where Pirate Bay's been existing for the last, everywhere. But
Pirate Bay. What's Pirate?
But that's what I mean. Like, good business for us.
Yes, it's going to be very interesting in the next 5 years if what happens goes through.
Yeah,
I mean, companies can move up here.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. And not even just companies, but they could just move their server farms up here.
Because if you look at even Amazon, even they're bringing up stuff.
And that makes sense. We buy enough stuff from Amazon. That's we have the biggest IKEA store in the bloody world. Like,
that doesn't surprise me at all. Like,
in this city, not even in this country. But that's what I mean.
I
get
lost in that store all the time.
arrows. Except they used to be on the floor. They're now a light bulb, so like if you stand by the arrow, it disappears.
And you don't know where you're going?
Magic.
Or if you're like me, you stand by the arrow and it shines on your head and no one knows where to go.
They look at the top of your head.
No, they can't see the top. I'm not that short.
So the long and short about this is it can be scary. It still is, possibly.
Yeah. So if you do live in the States, call the people. Start looking up what
it's crazy because even 80%
Canada
80% of it's crazy because 80% of Americans were all pro net neutrality.
Yeah.
Yet the FCC voted in the way it voted.
Because
it's
so the FCC's not for the they don't represent people. They represent
the government.
Companies.
Their thing.
And whoever's in power happens to fill.
That's why the Senate and that kind of stuff in Congress is now the big piece, because they can actually call their representative and be like, "Hey, I kind of like watching things online."
I kind of find it funny because I had some downtime, so I was at work, so I was able to watch. They streamed this entire event.
Yep.
And half of them were, or some of those FCC chairman people were like, we were flooded with tons of comments.
No way.
No. But then he added with, so all those comments we figured were either trolls or bots. So we ignored them. I'm like, no, that's not how this works. They're comments. You read them and take them into consideration. You don't just shrug them off. These are like legitimate concerns. So.
Yeah.
All right.
Hold on.
The negative news.
Also, just to point this out, as we will get slowed down now because I'm mentioning it, but Trump did put a lovely tweet out there.
Oh, a few years ago.
Oh no, he just posted one, something along the lines of like, you people wouldn't have even known what net neutrality was if we wouldn't have been bringing it up in the last few days.
No, they knew.
And that
Reddit and Imager knew.
Yeah. And that's what I mean, though. He went on for some point, and I saw it the other day, and I was just like, oh, man. But he was all like, yeah, you guys wouldn't even know what net neutrality was if da-da-da-da-da. Oh, there. Wow, more than 90% of fake news media coverage of me is negative, which, nope, that's another one.
So, so in some ways, if we're a very select audience. We know internet stuff. We know how this stuff works.
Yep.
If you look at the majority of Americans, I do tend to agree with him in that sense, because a lot of them are, their ignorance is that they don't know what the internet is. They don't know how these rules are done.
Yeah.
Yes.
So for them to be like, oh wait, this can be a thing, like that doesn't.
But your president shouldn't be coming at you going like, hey,
you should have known.
You wouldn't even know what net neutrality is, dum-dums.
I don't think he really does.
No, they need another catheter cowboy commercial.
Or if he does, he's being a twat about it.
Yeah, they need another catheter cowboy commercial from John Oliver.
Okay, let's move on to more amazing,
uplifting.
Do you want to go back to the top, or do we want to keep going down?
No,
let's go. I think we go down and then come back to.
Do we want to finish with a massive?
Yeah, let's finish big.
Yes.
Okay, so Pokemon Go.
Yes.
Is
a
very micro update. Ho-Oh is gone. We had until December 14th to catch him. You're not gonna log in because now
not Ho-Oh's gone.
No, because Ho-Oh's gone. You can now catch
another one.
You can now catch Groudon. The
Whatever.
one of the 3 legendary Pokemon.
I'm on it.
I'm actually doing that later today if you're interested. So Groudon will be available, I think, for 1 month. So January, blah blah blah.
I'm just gonna sit at home and play with my Wi-Fi lights.
Play with your nest some more. So go out and get your Groudon. Is the long and short of that.
Good update.
Yeah, micro update.
Yeah.
Micro update.
That was good.
I said it was a micro.
I know.
They put weather in. That's the biggest thing they've done since the game's launch.
Okay, so you play. We'll just move on. You play PUBG.
I play PUBG.
Yes, I forgot to change.
Oh,
these
we're
back.
playing the Forest.
We are playing the Forest.
That's scary.
It is scary.
I play PUBG. You play PUBG.
Yeah.
About a million other people have also played PUBG.
A lot of people play PUBG.
Quite a bit.
I don't.
It's short for Player Unknown Battlegrounds.
Yes, it is.
So the big hubbub at this year's E3 was that Microsoft
Hubba dubba.
has what do they get, like exclusive early access or
Yes.
early game trial or whatever.
Yes, because
whatever the
they're-
early access version is.
Because
on
they're
Xbox.
the box for their version of PlayerUnknown Battleground does say it is actually still in early access.
It's not early access, but it's
No,
early
it's
preview program or something.
Yeah.
So that came out like last week?
Yeah.
Something like that. That game is a mess.
Yes.
It is complete. I am just floored by how poorly it runs on an Xbox.
Well, it's funny, and then people talk about it, and apparently coding-wise, that game is another absolute mess, too. So nothing's optimized.
Right.
They've just been like, oh, we want them to vault. Throw it into the code.
Right. So the version that is out on Xbox
Sounds
is the
about right.
one that's on the test server,
Yeah.
minus the desert map, or maybe the desert map's in the
I
Xbox.
don't
I don't know. Either way, the problem with the game is that the map isn't loading right. There must be some sort of optimization that did not happen.
Remember when you could go through walls because
Yeah,
I
that
couldn't
happens-
see them?
That happens all the time on the Xbox version.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
You can walk up
Who
like
needs
air.
buildings?
You can walk up air, and then the stairs will load later,
Sweet.
or at least a flat, like a slope, will load. It's not even the stairs.
It makes the game interesting. You never know what to expect.
My problem with this is
As you shoot someone and they're like, ah, because there's an
get me.
invisible wall.
So here's my concern about this all. We like PUBG. We've played it quite a bit.
Yes, we understand though that it is beta.
Beta. But then you get to someone like you who's never played it,
No.
but will have a console to play it on and say, oh, I'll get into this whole PUBG thing. I heard
Not
so much
anymore.
about it. Puts it into the console. What
You
am
don't
I-
put it into the console. There's no disc.
Oh, okay. So whatever you do to
I download.
whatever it is you use to play it on
They're
the console.
selling you a box in the
It's
store.
empty, isn't it? It's
It's
code.
empty. It's
It's
got,
got a
code
code.
inside.
Yeah.
No.
There's
Just
not even
download
a,
it.
there's not even a physical
Either
disc
way,
in
you
yeah.
get it. Either way, you get it.
Yep.
So you'll boot it up and go like, hey, PUBG. Oh, this is.
But I would hope that by the time it comes out to PlayStation, that the stuff gets fixed.
With how poorly this game is launching on the
'Cause-
Xbox, I doubt we'll see a PlayStation
no,
one anytime soon.
Yeah, but if you
But this
Xbox
technically
is-
isn't their
Xbox is-
launch. This is their
No,
preview.
Xbox
Yes.
would be the test
Yes.
dummy. And
Test dummy.
and because Xbox and PlayStation are so similar.
Now I'm trying to remember: is this the same company, or did they like?
No, it's the same company.
All right, because a lot of the
Pretty
games, like
sure
if you
it's
look
the same.
at,
It's the Blue Hole company or whatever Player Unknown Battle
Yep.
company. It's a small development studio.
it is,
so-
but like it's the same thing as Ukulele, the guys who developed like
Yeah.
Platonic.
Mhm.
They made the PC version.
Oh yes.
Then they
And
gave they gave the porting like job out to another company for the Xbox
And
One and
PS4.
PlayStation 4, and they were the ones that handled the Switch game.
I'm so glad about that.
And the Switch game is
It's-
like
oh.
stellar.
Oh.
But that
And then you look at something
apparently
like
the
Rhyme.
but apparently the Xbox and PlayStation 4 version had a lot of issues with Ukulele.
Yes,
Yeah.
it did.
And you're just sitting there going like, this is why like in-house companies should do their game. So that's what I was wondering, if they had been like, here, you deal with this, and another company got it, was looking at the code going like, oh my god, what the hell do we do?
And the crazy part about this is, even if you run it on Xbox One X,
Yeah.
it's still bad.
Yeah.
It's
So there's
crazy.
some, it must be the code.
It's crazy. Even if it is ported out, like it's still. Even if they did get another person to work
Yeah.
on it, it's still really.
Makes me want to
Rough.
get it.
Right.
This makes me want to. This makes me appreciate the PC version so much more, because at least the jankiness on the PC version, it's designed to be janky.
Well, and again, we've been playing since forever ago.
Yes, before vaulting.
But way before vaulting. So for us, it's like, ooh, they updated this. It's fancy now.
Yeah,
like even Brian and I playing The Forest yesterday, we haven't played in a long time, so there's been quite a few updates. Brian's like, I think the logs got prettier. And he's like, oh, I think the leaves got prettier. Oh, I think this is like... So those subtle changes that they do make, all of a sudden you're like, oh, like when I build this thing now, it's not just like a door that's, you know, it looks like a piece of cardboard. It now looks like logs with a little like locking mechanism.
Well, even if you look at something like UI as well, the UI in the test server for PUBG, radically different than what we're used to.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. It's one of those.
And yes, eventually the Xbox version will be good.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I wish they'd.
Yeah, they'll have to fix something.
I kind of like early access to a point, but I feel on the consoles, early access or preview or whatever they're going to call it is 50-50.
Right. Like Sony doesn't have that, in my understanding. The only early access is Fortnite, I think.
Right. But that's...
I thought they had more than that.
No, they don't.
But that's my thing. Like, I don't know. I feel like PC, it's okay to test this kind of stuff because PC... You're not waiting on these companies to do the updates.
And the big thing about PC is that everybody's PC is a little bit different.
Right.
Whereas on the console market, you have PlayStation's got 2 models, Xbox's got 2 models.
Yeah.
Easy, like your development should not be drastically different. Whereas on the PC version, like PC mode, it's like
So I don't mind early. Like I don't know. It's
it
a
really
weird
depends
to me that,
on
like
the
early
game.
access. I don't mind PC because I feel like test it out. It's way cheaper, and I think that's part of the thing. Is early access is cheaper.
It's supposed to be inexpensive.
It's supposed to be an inexpensive thing,
I
whereas
still
PlayerUnknown Battleground is selling on the Xbox One for.
I think it's a $40 game.
I think it's a $40 game,
which is not terrible.
But not if the game doesn't work.
That's the crazy part about that. Is this is an actual early game preview? Don't take any of this for.
But at the same time, and I don't know selling a box is the right way to go about it either. So like you walk into an EB Games and see PlayerUnknown Battleground, you're like, yay! And then you pick it up and you open it up and there's a little card inside going like, you can download this now.
But I think though the way that the game developers and game publishers have been going about that, they've been doing codes inside boxes for ever since the PSP days.
They have.
So really, it's
but
it's
at the
not
same
unknown.
time, I feel for an early.
of course.
I feel like for an early access type thing, that should be something that's just on their digital shops, just available that way.
Yeah.
Once the release, like once they actually release 1.0 on the Xbox One, then do a physical release.
Yeah.
And then actually have,
But I think though they want to cash it. They want to cash in on it. They want to cash in on the fact that PUBG, the most played game on Steam, now available on Xbox.
Yeah.
Go get it.
Nope.
Play it.
And all they've done is hurt themselves. Like that's my thing
like
is
the worst part about it is you have this amazing reputation. And yes, the game now is playable on PC. It's fairly stable.
Yeah.
I mean, the bugs you get are just funny now.
And right now is a bad time to be doing stuff to games on consoles after
because they also have...
after Battlefront 2 blew up. Mm-hmm. Every complaint that gamers have is gaining a lot of, like, there is that echo chamber now, and the major news outlets are paying attention to this stuff, because even we were talking about Destiny before we started, and their update came out, so the level cap went up. Mm-hmm. Well, to access something that previously was accessible at level 20, you now have to level to whatever the new level cap is to do them, and everybody's like, we could play them a week ago.
Yeah.
Like, some people are sitting there going, I played it yesterday. And they're like, well... And the worst part is if you actually look at Destiny 1, they tried the same thing, and then they patched it in because they went, we've made a mistake, so we're going to make sure that all of the old stuff you can still run at level 20.
No one
and
really noticed that, I think.
I think though...
Not as much, but they did throw it into Destiny 1, so they're making the same mistakes with Destiny 2.
At some point, I'd look at it from the other point of view and be like, hey, maybe it was just a legitimate programming error.
No, it wasn't. They had to release a thing going like,
for Destiny 2 or Destiny 1?
Destiny 2.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. They released a little press thing going like, we screwed up, guys, so we're going to make sure that we're going to work hard to see if we can, like, balance changes out this way and add certain things for, like, the level 30 people now versus the level 20 people.
Hold on, was it the blanket statement of we're continually
yes, we're continually adjusting due to community, It's that one. They took that statement and just crossed out EA at the bottom and wrote PUBG.
Replaced Star Wars with Destiny 2.
Like, now's a bad time if you're a video game company
Yeah.
to be trying to screw people over in any
On
way,
the
shape, or
consoles,
form.
consoles is a very touchy.
And especially
With the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro now, those are the hardwares that you want to push. And if your games can't run on those higher end consoles, it's
well, and that's the thing. Like people are like, I own an Xbox One X. Like this thing should run, and all the PC people are like, PlayerUnknown Battleground barely runs on our machines sometimes. Like it is the buggiest game known to man, but at least on PC, we get updates.
right.
You know,
and on top of that, we can like go underneath, go under the hood and be like, because I had that resolution issue with mine. I actually went into the PUBG files. And, deleted some ones and replaced it. Yeah. And it worked fine.
Well, it was even Brian and I started playing The Forest yesterday, and obviously he hasn't played in a while, so whenever he started it up, it started his graphics at custom. Like, it read his graphics card. And computers aren't as good at that anymore. Like, games are not as good at that with custom-built PCs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they read your thing and they go, there's a whack load of weird stuff in here. We're just going to set you to low.
I think a lot of that, a lot of that is governed to the graphics card settings. So I know my NVIDIA stuff automatically detects that I have this graphics card.
Well, and that's the...
And then it says, hey, would you like to set this for the settings for all these other games we found installed?
And that's I can do that through, like, a tray icon and change all my game settings. But when you boot a game up, it's like, would you like us to optimize the game? And you're like, yeah, do it. Because before, if you bought a Dell computer, you would have everything built. Yeah. And the thing would go, oh, you're running this machine, cool, here's your settings, have a nice day. Now they go, low? So Brian's like, oh, the axe is blurry. And then he looked at something else, and he's like, am I farsighted or something in this game? And I'm like, check your settings, crazy person. So they were set to custom, so some of his textures were set too low, but his draw distance was set to, like, super high, so he could see super duper far away.
I bet you the
textures up close.
I bet you the game ran at 60 frames for him.
And all the textures were blurry and crap, and so all of a sudden he set everything to high, and he's like, now it looks normal. I thought I needed, like, to build glasses or something. He's like, that would be insane in a survival game.
Yeah, a survival game that governs game resolution.
No, but, like, it actually had you, like, had to build some kind of thing to be able to see.
Adjusted the resolution of the game.
Speaking of Brian.
Yes.
What is he up to?
Oh, that was from yesterday.
No, on the chat.
Oh, that's 11:30. Hello.
Nick looks pretty. Oh, thank you.
Thanks.
It's on that albino moose.
Thank you.
It is. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
You are here with us.
Be here.
See, we could totally have the cardboard cutout.
Hello.
Are you literally going to put it in
I'll just put a hand in there. Hello. Anyway,
PUBG.
Yes. Don't buy it on Xbox.
Not yet. Anyways.
This is the problem with games at this point, though. Even WWE on the Switch came out.
Oh, you were telling me about this.
It came out on the Switch, and I was so excited because I saw it on the eShop, and I'm like, score! And I'm like, wait.
Hold on. Wait.
Well, because I got NBA 2K.
Yeah.
That looked fine.
It's fixed now.
It looked fine.
Like, I can play basketball on that. My shoes are now, my custom shoes are in the game. Everything's
But even when
kosher.
When I saw it a couple days after you got it, it still looked like
basketball worked.
Yeah, it looked fine.
The cutscenes were junk. Apparently, with the wrestling game, if there's more than 2 people in that ring,
we watched a video.
Yeah, the game goes
to
up.
PowerPoint.
Yeah, and all the intros, which are like half the bet. Like, let's face it.
Yeah. That's why you get a wrestling.
When you're
game.
customizing a character, you're customizing that intro to, like, I had some time to watch.
Boo.
But that's right. Like, you have, the intro where you're doing all the, like.
Sometimes he comes out with a thing.
Oh, there's fireworks and everything, and apparently that's chugging like crazy. Like, everything's just. Yeah. And I'm
of all the Switch games that I was really looking forward to by the end of the year.
I know.
That was
one of them.
I was super bummed out when I saw that.
Like, especially it being announced, like, we knew it was coming end of the year. You're like,
okay, they made a big deal about it,
like,
too.
Xenoblade Chronicles is coming out. That's going to be awesome. We didn't know Yooka-Laylee until, like,
a couple
weeks ago.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a surprise, like, woo, exciting. And then, but WWE's been on the list for a long time, and it's like,
for a lot, not just for us too, but I know other people who are like, when I get when that comes out, I'll probably get a Switch or that, Zelda, and
that's
Mario
what I mean. Like,
right?
that was a kind of a
big tentpole
thing, and it's running like junk. And but it's one of those games now where everybody's like, I guess I'll wait till it's patched.
Because when was the last time a wrestling game was on a Nintendo console?
Or they'll just wait for the next one because they're one of those yearly things.
or do I wait for the next year and hope that next year?
Or do they
better.
even
See,
do it next year
from what I
because this
understand-
one will sell poorly?
Well, from what I understand, is that every second year, that's when the better stuff comes out.
But it depends because
Like
these guys.
apparently last year's WWE was actually
Yes.
pretty good. This one, they always say that they always seem to skip.
Oh well, either way, like the biggest piece
Is
of
it
this
like a
one
Call
is
of Duty effect?
Maybe.
2K just doesn't quite know how to optimize for the Switch, and I was really hoping after NBA 2K18 screwed up and they fixed it, that when WWE came out, they'd be like, okay, guys, like,
Well,
and ours
2K
was delayed too. Like the Switch version
Yeah.
was delayed, and I'm like, oh, good, they've gone. Oh, we screwed up.
They
It's
pulled the
still running
ukulele
like jump.
thing.
Yeah, like it's still screwed up. Let's spend some extra time on it and make it a good game.
At some point, you got to realize you'd have to think that someone at 2K was sitting on this development. They were like, "Oh, you wanted me to work on this?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, no.
Oops. Hold on, let me.
There, I released it.
When is it out? Tomorrow? Shit.
Yeah.
Here, well, we can fix it in pre-patch or post. What is it? What do they call that? A post-patch
Yeah.
content or something? like that?
Post-release patch.
Yeah, post-release patch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I'm just like, oh man.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm waiting for the patch on that one, but I shouldn't say that about a game.
No, you shouldn't have to.
'Cause-
When the game comes out, I should be like, score and download.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks because another one of those games that I was really looking for that was delayed on the Switch.
Yep.
Rhyme.
Right.
I really, really wanted to play that, and
It's got a patch coming.
that's what they say. Mr. Shifty eventually got its optimization patch, so we'll see what happens with Rhyme.
Yeah. So either way,
Okay.
Yeah.
So-
I'm just sad that I can no longer just see a game and be like, score, buy it, and it works.
We're still on that era
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
like, oh, it's a releasable.
See,
it's
like Mario
releasable.
came out, and I'm like, score, Mario, bought,
Yeah.
downloaded, played.
But the thing is, you can't when it comes to
I know,
first
Nintendo
party.
can obviously
Well, Nintendo, but
optimize,
even first party content,
Yeah.
is like
But ukulele, I did the same thing. I'm like, score, out, download, play.
right.
God, what a game. That's for later. Though.
Yeah, that's that's a stellar freaking game. I have it too.
Either way,
Anyways.
for the big news,
Yes.
Big news.
Goodbye. We're done.
bum, ba, bum, bum.
So
Spotlights.
Yeah.
Dis-
You keep
confetti,
hearing
confe-
about any of
confetti.
that?
So Disney,
They
they spent a lot of money this week.
You know what? To be fair, I spend a lot of money at Disney, so
You.
God,
I
my
helped
money's
with
going
this
Are you
somewhere.
serious? So
I funded like
a
Who
fraction
cares?
of it.
tiny
You still
fraction.
did. You
Every
made-
once in a
you
while,
made this happen.
I buy those Phase box sets for Marvel.
Yeah.
those are not cheap.
Well, how we spent over $1,000 at Disneyland
still-
that we spent what 3 days in.
There
That
you
is
go.
still not a lot enough to purchase or to cover.
I told you I helped a little bit. I had my honeymoon there. I proposed there. I've done my due diligence in
I
helping
spent
Disney with
like
this purchase.
$300 there recently.
Yeah, you just spent a bundle with Disney,
So,
so you've helped with this. You've all helped with this
Yes.
purchase.
My fiance used to work there. You've done,
So she was working against the purpose, for they were paying her.
but she was
she was
they were
putting
paying,
money back
but
in.
putting money back in. She was getting money for.
That's true.
She was getting money for.
That's a complicated.
Everybody
That's a complicated
contributed to this.
relationship.
Yes.
But yeah, no, she.
Yes,
yeah,
it's
okay,
complicated
yeah.
on Facebook.
Yeah.
So Disney did the thing.
They
That
did
we've been
do a
talking
thing.
about.
They,
Vote for
they
a few
did the
weeks.
thing that not.
Keep beating
If
around
you've
the
been
bush.
under, if you've lived under a rock for the last month,
Yes.
Disney has been in talks to purchase Fox. Well, not Fox in total.
Most of
most
Fox.
of. I'd say about 80% of Fox.
I have all of the thing. I have kept
So did
all
I.
of the news things that I've been reading to keep like.
So this includes, but not limited to, the movies licenses, the TVs.
yes.
They now own a majority shareholder in Hulu because
Yes.
the other 30%
Yep.
was
Majority.
Fox.
Yep.
And what else?
Some international thing.
Yeah.
Hold up. Here we go.
They own so the only two major things that they're not getting is
No,
what
there's three.
was the third one.
There's a third.
So the news,
Yep.
the news outlet for
Yeah.
Fox, they can't own that. They legally can't
Well,
own
because
that.
they own ABC.
Yeah, they legally can't own that.
Yep.
They can, they're not picking up the sports stuff.
I thought there was one
Certain
more.
sports stuff. They are picking up some sports stuff, but they can't get all the regional jazz and all that stuff.
Okay.
Disney Oilers.
No,
No.
well, Disney already owned the Mighty Ducks. They don't want a hockey team, but
That worked out so well.
but Disney already owns E
For a
ESPN,
while.
so they can't buy Fox Sports Media Outlet. They did buy I think, certain like regional
Yeah.
Right.
channel things for
Right.
sports, and they also did not buy Fox Business Network,
There you
That
go.
doesn't
That's what
surprise
the third one was.
That doesn't surprise me. I didn't.
which
really-
I'm assuming was attached to Fox News in some
Yes,
way, shape, or
probably.
form. So,
So-
and no one wants to own Fox News.
So aside from those three pieces,
They now own
Lots.
some
stuff.
debt.
everything else.
Some
Well, not
debt.
not a lot actually. 13,
No.
13 million.
Yeah, like it was.
Oh,
It was
no,
not,
13 billion.
billion.
13 billion, which is like to them that's like what, a year and a
well,
half.
they
of-
just
Pocket
spent
change.
they just spent what $52.4 billion to buy Fox.
right,
So
but they're gonna get that back in like a year or two.
So they bought cable network programming from Amstrad, LAP TV, Skypick, Star TV, and Tata Sky.
Okay.
So those are network like cable program things.
Sure.
Yeah.
Film entertainment, they have bought 20th Century Fox, which is like the big chunk of that, and Fox Studios Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Others, obviously Hulu, and they have bought Fox's stake in National Geographic.
I think
I
that'll
know,
be
yeah, that one
that'll
surprised
be
me.
that'll be good.
Which is good because Disney already does their Disney Nature
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
So partnering that with, like, even I was telling my wife, and she's like, well, their Disney Nature stuff plus National Geographic, like, that
That's
goes
awesome.
National
hand in hand
Geographic is
together.
pretty iconic.
Well, yeah, that's the piece. Is like Disney's like, no one really knows Disney Nature, but everybody knows Nat Geo. Like,
It's been around since the dawn of time.
for television, they have bought Endomwa Shine Group.
Bless you.
Endomole's Shine Group, sorry. Fox International, Fox Networks, the Fox television stations, and the National Geographic Channel.
Yep.
Can I just say, can we? And I mentioned this to you guys already. Can we just appreciate how Tony Stark of the plan this was
Oh,
to
big time.
purchase the rest of the Marvel stuff?
Bruce Wayne.
Well, and
Bruce Wayne,
yeah,
Tony Stark,
any
way
of
of
the rich
doing-
people. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, I can't deal with this
But
problem.
anyways-
I will pay money for it.
You
How
said
much
it.
can we buy? How much does this entire thing cost?
Well, and here's the big piece, and this is what my coworker and I were talking about, is they weren't even looking at
No, they were
the
looking
Marvel stuff, because they're looking at starting their own streaming service like we were talking
kind
about.
of a big piece.
So they want that backlog of 20th Century Fox stuff to be able to
I was surprised about how much they did.
stream.
I shouldn't be surprised, but
How much
their
Fox
movies
has
in that?
done.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Fox has been
Tons.
around since the dawn of time as well. Like
I
they've been around.
Yeah, and I was also talking to Brian about this. 10 years ago, we would not have given two hoots that Marvel got, or like Disney owned the Fantastic Four and the X-Men.
yeah.
We would have been like,
Okay.
Whatever.
Or like
Okay.
Spider-Man for that matter too.
Fox or Disney, the Mickey Mouse Company now owns The Simpsons.
They own The
Family
Simpsons. They
Guy.
know. They own Family Guy. They
But
know
10 years
Alien.
ago, that would have been the
I know,
big
I-
chunk. Is The Simpsons is now owned by Mickey Mouse, the people they've pretty much been making fun of for the last, 30 years.
Their entire
This is
show was
another-
running.
Yeah.
This is another thing that Simpsons predicted.
They did
Oh, yeah,
19 years ago.
I remember seeing that.
Fox, 20th Century
A
Fox,
subsidiary.
a subsidiary of the Disney
I remember
Co.
seeing that. It's like, oh god, what else is Simpsons gonna do?
So Disney themselves, this is why I kept this article. So Fox was obviously worth total assets $52 billion in change.
Yeah,
In change. I wish I could have
Whatever
that.
change
I'll take
that-
that change.
I think we could all
The
split.
Walt Disney Company, before this merger happens, is worth $95.79 billion. Before the Fox merger. And that goes to corporate investments, all that kind of stuff, consumer products, so ESPN,
We should've
Maker
bought
Books,
shares in
Marvel,
Disney
Star
before this.
Wars, the Muppet Studios,
Should have.
Oh shit.
ABC Entertainment, ABC News and Radio, A&E cable channels they own 50% of, ESPN they own 80% of, Hulu they owned 30% of, which they'll now own
60.
after the antitrust stuff goes through. If it goes through in 12 to 18 months, 60%. Marvel Entertainment, Vice they own 10% of, Vice Land. The parks and resorts themselves make almost $30 billion. That's what they're worth. So
Yeah.
that's just Disneyland, Disneyland Paris, and Disney World. Because they don't own the other ones.
They don't know Japan.
No.
Okay.
They loan their name out to those ones. And then, of course, Walt Disney Studios, which they own the distribution rights to DreamWorks.
Did,
Yeah, there's
Disney,
another
did,
thing
Disney,
that,
did Disney just buy a chunk
No.
of DreamWorks?
They've always had DreamWorks.
Oh,
Ages and ages ago, DreamWorks started making animated flicks.
yeah.
And I think Disney went, we'll take some of those. Like, they went public, and Disney's like,
Yeah.
So what you're saying is Shrek and Princess
makes
Fiona.
Disney money.
So Princess Fiona should have been a Disney princess this
No.
entire time.
No.
No.
Not officially.
Not,
Disney.
she's like a subsidiary, like, basement
Yes.
princess. They also, of course, own Lucasfilm,
bad.
Marvel, and Pixar.
Yeah.
And those studios
And then,
alone
yeah,
are
there was
worth
And with this
$16.3
Fox thing,
billion.
there's another animated thing coming in too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't remember what they called it.
I forgot what theirs
Well,
is.
there's now. It's Disney's now.
Well, no, they didn't know if it was going to merge with. Did Disney really want another
Animation.
animated production
Probably
company?
not. Probably not. But everybody, like, so there's kind of three sides to the internet right now. There are the people who are really happy about this because Disney now owns, well, me too. Disney now owns the distribution rights to the Star Wars films.
Right.
All of them.
Right. So now we can probably even see a
It
proper
was only
theatrical
it was only
release.
episode 4 that they
did.
missing.
Yeah, 4, 5, and 6 somehow all got mixed
But,
in there
yeah,
together
with
because
Fox
yeah,
and-
But now that
because you couldn't have the Fox fan. Everybody's like, we can put the Fox fanfare in front of Star Wars again, and everybody's like, that's
do we
not
care
gonna
about
happen.
that? Do we care?
People
about
did. But so
Really?
there's that piece. There is obviously Marvel getting back the Fantastic Four and the X-Men. So the Fantastic Four weren't owned by a smaller company, but that company was in fact owned by Fox. So because that was the internet on the rumors on the internet were like, well, they don't actually own the Fantastic Four. And
Well,
Disney in their Disney's press release goes, we now own the Fantastic Four, X-Men, and then they separate Deadpool and Deadpool.
They have to. They have to. At this point.
Yeah.
So that there's those people who are like, they own everything again. This is like the coming
They can
of
do
age
that.
of everything.
They can do that Patterson Oswalt awkward
Yes.
fan fiction.
Then there's the people who are like, they own Aliens now. They're gonna do PG-13. They're gonna Disney-fy everything that is good in the world.
That
And
was
I'm
my
like,
big concern.
Yes.
But that has been quashed, I think.
But I wasn't worried about that at all because again, Disney used to own the people that made Final Destination. They Pulp
Miramax?
Fiction.
Touchstone?
Yeah.
Was it Touchstone?
They
Yeah.
own Touchstone and Miramax at one
But
point.
the last, I think the sort of the question about that was the last time those studios did anything R-rated was like what 1990 something, right?
Well, I don't know. But either way,
So
like,
they haven't done that, but
Then,
they've Bob Iger has come up him personally himself.
well, and that was a big question. Was more Deadpool than anything else.
Yeah.
People were like,
So if they're willing to keep,
what's gonna happen?
If
they're willing-
with Cable and Thanos now.
Yeah, I know.
that's great. Well, I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, but Johnny Storm now exists in the same universe as Captain
no.
America
No,
Well, no, they'll restart that, but
again.
with Chris Evans.
Chris Evans.
could.
Chris Evans.
Now an old Human Torch.
He could play younger. They have the technology.
I don't think they have that
Yeah,
much.
Disney
I don't
does
think they
have
have
the
that much
technology.
money. They don't have money right now. They
They have lots of money.
but yeah,
he's trying
since
to get
Bob,
out of
like, if they're willing to keep Deadpool R-rated, I have no issues with the rest.
Well, and I
of
liked his
the-
comment.
the
He's
stuff.
like, as long as people know it's R-rated, I don't have a
Right.
problem making R-rated.
Yeah, like I said,
Yeah.
we'll tell them
So that-
it is.
Or even just rebranding so Marvel R. The comics did that too, where they
Yeah.
did like an adult version of a lot
Yeah.
of comics, where there was sex and violence and like gore and all that stuff, and
Or
it
they could
had a
even
special license.
They could even like on the trailers have Deadpool just come up. This is an R-rated movie.
Yeah,
I'm
but
gonna
to be
just-
fair, they did that with the first one, and people were still morons. Like Ryan Reynolds was pretty much telling people like, "You're a moron if you take your kid to see this film."
Yes.
And people still were and getting mad, and he's like, "I don't know how I can make it more clear that you should not be taking your kids to see this film."
I think
Yeah.
that a part of that was that they made a Green Band trailer for that movie.
Maybe.
They,
It-
But
it-
even
it's
that
like
wouldn't-
but they have to make a Green Brand trailer because they have to be able to show the trailer during regular network hours. All R-rated movies.
Oh
have
yeah,
a
that's
Green
right. I
Brand
forgot
trailer.
about TV.
Yeah.
I don't watch.
It has
TV.
nothing to do with YouTube. It has everything to do with you want to be able
Well,
to
no,
show
just
your
like in
trailer.
front of a trailer, in
Yeah.
front of a movie, like you see the Red Band trailer in front.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I totally forgot about TV.
TV.
I don't have
Yeah, I read up.
that. So,
I read up on the series though, like movies that they could do.
Oh yeah.
Like Die Hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go to
What's Die-
Disneyland.
What's Die Hard?
Stop a thing at Disneyland.
What's Die Hard?
The best part is they used to have an alien ride,
Again.
and it was
Again.
the
Avatar's in production right now.
well. So they now own Avatar. So
Yeah.
now they now own the rights to the theme park of Avatar, and
Yeah.
obviously now the movies. They now own The Simpsons, which is a major ride in Universal Studios. They actually own a large part of the rides in Universal Studios now, like the
Is Jaws Universal? I think that's
Yeah,
Universal.
it's Universal. Yeah,
Universal.
pretty sure it is.
um.
Like Alien, Predator, Home Alone series.
Oh
You could
man!
totally-
If Disney
Yeah,
did another Home
Disney.
Alone, that would be.
There was a new one that came out like last year. You don't want more Home Alone movies.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
you get Macaulay Culkin as a dad.
Have you seen him?
He's on drugs, dude.
That
It's
well,
a-
that would be a relevant way of leaving the kid alone. Daddy's going out for a
true.
while.
He looks like he's always on drugs.
Goes on a bender for a few days. He's
yeah.
not home.
The side story isn't them trying to
the
get
dad-
home; it's just the dad on some random drug antic adventure.
Wait,
Well,
what
these
movie
two
are we
sequences
making
happen
again?
at the same time. You follow Dad on what he goes on.
What movie are
And
we
then-
making again?
But see, here's the best part: is Disney now has that Fox 20th Century Fox banner that they can put movies behind, so they can make R-rated flicks.
They're not.
Kingsman,
That's
Planet of the Apes.
the
Yeah.
big piece is that they're not axing Fox.
No, they're keeping it.
They're keeping
They're doing
Fox.
a Pixar move and a LucasArts move
Yeah,
with Fox.
they're still gonna keep it. They're not gonna put Disney on everything.
Well, then I did have a kind of curiosity with this though. Now that they have like Buffy and that,
Yes,
Do
and
they take
Firefly.
the
Firefly.
do they take the comics from Buffy and move it over to
Marvel. I'm
Yeah,
not sure
Marvel.
who owns the comic.
Dark
book.
Horse.
Dark? It's
I'm
Dark Horse,
not
isn't
sure
it?
who owns the rights to
See,
like.
now would you do that though?
Yes,
Google.
Move all those guys over to
not
to
necessarily
Marvel.
the MCU, but under the Marvel banner.
yeah.
Who
Yes.
owns Dark Horse Comics?
DC.
Oh, God, it's DC.
It's
This
not.
this deal got really weird.
But then yeah, you could have a Firefly reboot or a Buffy reboot. Or
I think it's
Stuff like
too,
that.
I think it's way too late for a Firefly. I think I'm done with Firefly in terms of that.
I think you do it, and I think you would get.
You can do in universe, but reboot. Don't do the cast. Like
Yeah, do
make-
something in the universe.
Yes.
Not yeah.
Do a Star Trek Next Generation.
and every
sort
once
of,
in a while,
whatever,
like
yeah.
one of those characters will come
can
back.
come thin, yeah. Or
It's
you
like-
hear about like some band
Crazy,
of, yeah.
Someone
crazy
died,
people
not
that went to
crazy
the
one.
dark edge of the universe and came back
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah, something stupid. I'd be okay with that. I don't
all
want
the
the
possibilities.
yeah. I don't want the cast back for Firefly. I just
Yeah,
Well,
I think they're all done with it too.
they're not done with it.
They're,
It's
okay, not
just-
done with it. Like they don't want to come back because
Yeah.
it's
They
for the
would
sake
love
of.
to.
They don't want to come back for the sake of coming back.
Right. Then they have other careers now.
Yeah.
Most of them.
Sorry, Neil. Sorry, Nathan Fillion.
Yeah. With that, starring in your own ABC show for what, 8 seasons,
Sorry.
Yeah.
and not needing to work anymore ever. That's cool.
He would totally do it.
He just
Okay.
does voice work for Pixar now.
Yeah, he was actually pretty good in Cars.
He was good in Cars.
He was really good in Cars.
So yeah, that's it. Disney owns.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
so this happened the same day as the FCC stuff. So my emotions were all over the place that day.
You were emotional.
I couldn't concentrate on a whole lot. Full disclosure.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
Oh yeah.
Super excited.
Oh yeah. It's like the
Maybe
possibilities.
we bring in X-Men for the
And
Avengers 4.
And I'm really the Avengers 4 is done right now in terms of the script and things. I think they're
You still got time that you could add more scenes.
what
to it.
what they do is they tag that into sort of the ending or the post-credit sequence.
So that's fine. I'd be fine with that.
Yes, that's what they would do. If
Well,
they're
that's
gonna-
my coworker and I were talking, and now like again, the rumors on the internet are Phase 4 is now Phase Fantastic 4. So bringing them into and then saving the X-Men for.
and you know
almost
at
Phase 5.
at some point Kevin Feige was probably he had his ear to the ground and he knows.
Well, yeah,
that
when
this
they
was
announced
probably
the
gonna
20
happen
movie
down.
thing, yeah. I would
Well, yeah, for him, he's just like sitting in the background, like, come on, guys.
All right, or he
30 now.
or it's like his like weekly meeting with like Bob Iger. He's
Yeah.
like, so Bob, how's that thing going on? I'm like, just hold on. Can I do this movie set? Can I do these movies?
Yeah.
maybe.
Can I
Just-
essentially film this for the end of my next film?
Can we say this word? Can we say this word yet? Can we say this
Yes.
word yet? No, not yet. Not yet, Kevin.
Well, and I love how everybody was like, they're worried about Deadpool, and then they're like, it will be rated, like, we'll
Yes.
we're okay with entertaining the idea of a rated R Deadpool. And then everybody's like, so does Ryan Reynolds get to stay as Deadpool? And everybody's like, why wouldn't they keep Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool?
Yeah.
He's the only character that can legitimately
Yes.
cross over, and it's not like the MCU people.
He's
like, it's
got
not
a
like
mask
Kevin,
on too.
But it's not like Kevin Feige doesn't.
He's okay with Deadpool.
Yeah, it's not like he doesn't know who Deadpool is. He's not going to be like, who's this Deadpool guy coming in?
It's funny because
Yeah.
watching
Oh,
Ryan
no,
Reynolds.
not Ryan Reynolds. Ryan
like-
Reynolds' Twitter was hilarious.
I know him and the Guardians director.
Yeah, Sean Gunn.
Sean Gunn. No,
No,
no.
that's the other guy.
James.
James Gunn.
James Gunn. Like the conversation
Not
those
his
two
brother.
have been having
Yeah.
has been it was pretty funny.
Well, and then so that's the third part of the internet that is concerned because someone tweeted out, like an actor tweeted out, that they're afraid that Disney now owns like 40% of all of the media you will be consuming, essentially.
It's concerning, but
I'm
I don't
okay
think
with
it's going to
that.
be an issue.
Well, and here's my thing: if you don't like the movies they produce,
Then don't go watch.
then don't go watch them. And guess what happens?
You don't see a lot.
Disney will sell them because they'll be like, oh, apparently no one wants to watch an Alien movie.
Yeah.
Like again, if they make Alien PG,
It's gonna be a tough
I
sell.
don't see
one,
them doing
they
that.
won't do that. Two, no one will go see it, and Disney will go, no one wants to see Aliens, sell it.
Yeah, because that's what they're talking about now. Where's those series
Right.
going?
Yeah, Disney's not above selling stuff away.
Right. And they're not, at this point, from what we have seen, they're not morons when it comes to stuff. They're going to be like, oh, the Alien movies do well because of... Again, they had an Aliens ride in Disneyland. They had to close it because it was too scary.
Which I could totally see.
Yeah, but that was that generation.
Right.
This is now.
But that's my thing. Like, they closed it because it was too scary. They built the ride. Going like, we understand aliens. Like, the whole point was... Like, you were supposed to transport something in a tube, and it was supposed to be like you could transport, matter from one place to the other, and it was this big giant experiment.
Yeah.
So they transport a plant, and you're like, oh, because you're supposed to be like in a demo audience, sitting in a chair, like strapped down.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like, something happens, and you see the xenomorph inside the tube, and the lights go. And then all of a sudden, the xenomorph's gone, and the glass is broken after you hear the shattering, and you're like. They're like, just remain in your seats. We've locked you in position to keep you safe. And then you feel the stuff, like, run by your feet and, like, blow air on the side of your neck. Like, I remember going on this ride as a teenager.
Welcome to Aliens.
Well, yeah, and almost pissing yourself, right? And you're going like...
Welcome to Xenomorph.
And then that got booted because it was too scary. And then they put in Stitch's Great Escape. It's the same ride, except it's Stitch now, like, running around a room going... And then breathing on your neck, and you're like...
This is still the same amount of creepy.
Type of scary.
This is the same creepy.
Then all of a sudden, like a big animated gun comes out and starts trying to shoot Stitch, and you're like, this isn't. And that ride has now been shut down because no one likes it.
Bring back the Alien.
And now I'm like, they own Alien again.
Do you realize that now Disney has a character in a DC fighting game? Alien.
Oh yes. And a Predator.
And Predator. In a DC fighting game, they own that. That's weird.
Disney versus Marvel versus DC. It's finally
okay. So what excites me again most about this is that we can finally get a proper Marvel versus Capcom game, not Disney versus Capcom.
Imagine all the DLCs that's coming out now.
They could literally call a downloadable content pack literally called Street Fighter versus X-Men.
They could.
And release all of the X-Men and all the Street Fighter.
And charge you another $60.
I'd pay for it.
You would though, because honestly, that's like a whole new game.
Because half of that fun about that game is playing with all these characters in one like bundle.
Yeah.
But if they release a Street Fighter versus X-Men game, the game that started all of these crazy crossovers.
Yeah. But I'm part of that group that is. I'm not afraid that Disney owns too much.
Okay, so
because again,
I like their content.
But again, the market talks. So if they do release bad movies based on these franchises they've bought, no one's going to see them.
So here's my
Disney either sells or rethinks what they're doing.
My biggest concern, and it's not really a huge concern
at
this point. My biggest concern is that Disney is taking Fox off of the market in terms of, oh, I've got this movie pitch idea, or I'm an actor who wants to work. I've got one less company I can work with.
What I've heard though is Fox wasn't that easy to work with.
It doesn't matter though. Like that's just one thing or one less studio I can pitch my movie to.
Yeah,
now I'm pitching into Disney and Disney.
There's 5 big companies.
There's still 5 big companies, but it's and I know, like I said, it's a very small concern. But it is it's valid.
It's there.
So it's. And again, stuff is so fresh. We don't even know. No. It could still be pitching into Fox. You could still be pitching into Fox.
Right. It's the same as do you go to Pixar to get a job, or do you go to Disney to get a job as an animator?
So it's like it could just be that again.
Yeah.
But you don't know. Like it's.
And again, LucasArts has been running fairly independent of Disney.
So you want to go to LucasArts and say, I've got a Star Wars pitch idea.
Right.
It's fairly.
I'm assuming they get a lot of those.
Yes, fans. But honestly, the effects of this merger and buying out, we have several.
So many.
We have several strong opinions on the Star Wars franchise.
I haven't even seen 8 yet, but I can tell you what to write.
Lightsabers.
Senate meetings.
The Trade Federation
agreements.
Complicated love triangles.
Between someone who's not even competition.
He's himself. Competition between himself.
I love you. No, I love you. You're the same person.
The effects of this really won't be felt until way down the line.
I give it a year.
Well, and so here's the thing: 12 to 18 months for the big stuff to go through. Like someone was saying, those stuff like Avatar and
Avatar will be done by then.
But stuff like Avatar and the X-Men stuff and the Marvel stuff, the antitrust aren't going to look at it and go, how dare you own all of the properties that you should properly own?
Yeah, that's not. They're not going to stop that.
They're not stopping that. The antitrust people are looking at Hulu and the television networks that they're managing to pick up.
The continually earning profit stuff, not just the rights.
Yes. Like all of that stuff. And even, again, Disney does do Disney Nature. Is that in conflict with buying National Geographic?
One of them has to close.
And maybe Disney's already like, Disney Nature's done. Yeah. All Disney Nature people proceed into the National Geographic headquarters. Thank you very much.
Yes. Or maybe just straight merge Disney National Geographic. I was gonna say Disney National Geographic.
Or Disney presents National Geographic.
Done. But that's what I mean. Like drop one, because I know that happens. I mean, I worked for a company that did that. We got bought out by another company, and they had to sell staff and all stores to other people because antitrust. We couldn't have so many stores within a certain.
I'd be interested to see what's going to happen with the future of the X-Men films. I mean, what is Dark Phoenix in the middle?
Dark Phoenix is done. The plot is out.
The plot's out. Are they still filming? I think they're still filming. So it won't affect.
Everybody's a little intrigued by it. That's why everybody figures
New Mutants is done. New Mutants is done.
That's why everybody figures the X-Men
2 is done.
Stuff is going to.
X-Force is the big question as well.
X-Force is a big question, but everybody's figuring now like. X-Men, they'll be like, yeah, these are.
Gambit movie's dead.
Ooh, Gambit? Oh yeah, if it's not dead now,
dead.
If it's not dead now, it's.
But everybody figures that's why X-Men won't be till like Phase 5 because they'll let all of this stuff go. They'll have a lull of X-Men.
And Kevin Feige has been very adamant about saying like, there's going to be a shift in the Marvel movies. Everything that happens before Avengers 4 and then everything that happens after Avengers 4.
Well, and they want to go cosmic, so owning the Fantastic Four is
even X-Men. X-Men for that matter.
But owning Fantastic Four
would be more.
is more the cosmic piece. So Phase 4...
What about the Dark... I think Dark Phoenix is massive.
But you could end Phase 4 with Dark Phoenix headed towards Earth.
Yeah.
And then do base Phase 5 on building up the X-Men and end Phase 5 with the Phoenix Force movie. That's how you build... Because again, Phoenix Force isn't just...
But the thing is like they're... I think Galactus is the...
Galactus, I think, is like the Phase 6 bad guy that they build up through...
Let's go farther, guys! Yeah. Let's go farther!
Well, but again, like they've built Thanos up for, what, 3 phases now? Yeah. Galactus deserves some phase time.
He's a planet eater.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah. And same with Doom, man. But that's everybody now is like...
Okay, so here's the crazy part about this. The Avengers Tower is vacant.
Yes.
It's kind of...
You give it to the
Fantastic Four?
I give it to Oscorp.
I think Oscorp...
Oscorp I think would make more sense.
Because I want to see the Baxter Building as the Baxter Building.
And then you think about Sokovia happens to be in a remote...
area of Europe.
And it's very... What if some dictator helped
build Sokovia back up?
And happened to wear a mask?
And renamed it.
And he also has a robot production facility?
Yeah. Based on Ultron bots that landed in crap?
Doom bots!
See? We can do movies.
The internet's already on that one.
Yeah.
They were quite adamant about that.
We're gonna take
the Doom bots?
Yeah. They were quite adamant about that when the internet's like, so Sokovia.
What's going on? What's going on with that?
Well, someone even said like end of Avengers 3. At this point, after credits scene, could it really be?
It could be Doom.
A character without the whole getup. Like he doesn't need the Doom getup yet, but he could essentially be a guy walking around Sokovia.
Or it could be even
running for a leadership thing.
It could be an Avengers.
Or it'll be a subtle thing in the background. Oh, in news today.
Sure.
Leadership.
But start building, because you got to start building up Doom. You got to start building up Galactus at some point. Like again, Doom is not a one and done character. Galactus is not a one and done.
I think what they do as a post credit sequence for Avengers 4 is tease the Doom stuff.
Yeah. So that's my thing.
They don't have to cast him because remember at the end of Avengers 1, they had Thanos.
Yeah.
They didn't use the same actor, so they could easily just do that route.
So
he just happens to have a green cloak on.
Right.
Or he's still normal.
Yes.
Yeah. He doesn't put the mask on yet. And that's the big piece too is Captain Marvel, because she is fighting Skrulls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can throw Super Skrull in now.
Eventually,
Absolutely.
Well, the movie's... It's not done.
Which one?
Captain Marvel.
Lots of these movies aren't done right now.
Well, but that's the thing. Like, Captain Marvel has a huge opportunity now to go, like, if we throw the Super Skrull in the background, we can use him in Phase 4 at some point.
They haven't even started filming. They're filming in February.
Avengers 4 right now.
Yes.
They're not even started.
Her movie's not starting until February, so that actually might get delayed.
But that's what I mean. Like, there's so many options.
Like, you
now
think
with stuff.
you look at
and
what happened
then
with
you look at
you look at-
James Gunn, and he's like, I have the Silver Surfer.
Yeah, he was nerding out about that.
Yeah.
So you think about what happened when Microsoft when Disney got Spider-Man back. That pushed a lot of movies back. This is gonna change the field for the Marvel movies.
I also feel like, again, a lot of these talks started happening. Remember when Inhumans got kind of like booted off the slate, and then all of a sudden became a TV thing?
That was a subsidiary. That was the Spider-Man effect.
But that was part of it. But at the
Probably.
same time, I
Definitely.
bet you that talks after Spider-Man happened, these Disney talks with Fox were also somewhere in the background, and they're going, do we really want to push Inhumans if we're going to get X-Men back?
Yeah, they're like, Kevin, we need your input on this.
Yeah, Kevin, should we make a really crappy Inhumans TV special? Or should we make the movie? If we get the X-Men back in, like, give or take 3 or 4 years. And he goes, well, I'll take the X-Men. They could have Inhumans.
And there's like really, really good chance Inhumans isn't going to come back because they've been marketing the DVDs for that, and it's literally with the
I haven't
title.
seen anything.
I haven't seen but the marketing on the title says the complete series instead of season 1.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you had so much.
That thing
faith.
bombed so hard, though.
You guys had
Yeah.
so much faith in this.
Disney
thing.
knows when to jump ship.
And the best part is when they do the proper Illuminati, they can just replace Black Bolt with, I don't know, Captain
Someone.
Marvel.
Sure.
Good.
And
Now
again,
they
it's
have Xavier now.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
like
Mr.
a big
Fantastic.
Mr. Fantastic. 2 major players.
Well,
in
and
the
at this point,
Illuminati.
everybody's like, so that means that Logan's coming back, right?
The character's coming back. I don't think Hugh Jackman.
I don't want Hugh Jackman. I think wants to come back now
He's still adamant about not coming
because
back.
he was totally down for coming back if he could fight the Hulk.
That was a couple of years ago.
No, he was
That
still
quote
at
was a
that
couple.
point with.
No, he's gone on record and saying like, I think I'm done with that role.
We'll see.
We'll see. I'm done with him.
I'm okay with him coming back as a cameo,
No.
but I don't think as
We don't have to
much
deal with Jennifer Lawrence anymore.
I know that's the best part about that entire thing.
I hate her mystique. I liked First Class. Yes, when she first when that was the first one
She's
she was
supposed
in,
to
right?
be super evil.
That's my problem. Is First Class was half decent because they played up the beginnings of all of them, which was cool. So it's like, oh, the split between her and Xavier being like good friends and then not.
Yeah, Days
That's
of Future
big.
Past did not pay off on that.
No, a lot of them didn't, and I'm like, oh man, like way to screw up. So I'm kind of glad that Mystique arc, not the fact that Jennifer Lawrence isn't playing the part
It
anymore,
just
but
messes
just
up the
as
X-Men
much as-
timeline so much more.
As much as I would love Hugh Jackman to come back as Wolverine,
wouldn't.
I don't think.
Old man Logan.
nope.
No, I don't think he's
Really?
I-
Old man.
I'm done with all of them. I'm reboot everything. Do the X-Men the way that they
This
should
is the
be done.
I think this is the right time to recast Wolverine.
This is the right time to recast
Everyone.
everybody but Ryan
Except-
Reynolds.
I think
And Colossus.
Patrick Stewart.
He won't do it.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay.
I think he's done.
He's-
I don't mind as good as an actor of Michael Fassbender was as an actor. I love his work, but him as Magneto it was so polarizing. He was-
Somebody had a picture of someone else that they were like, I would like to see this guy play Magneto, and I'm like, that's the one. And I forgot what it was now online, but I'm like, oh damn, like that would have been a good.
But like I love all of the performances he's in.
Yeah.
But as Magneto, he was kind of back and forth. Like First Class, yes, he was amazing.
First Class was a like.
Days of Future Past was kind of like, oh. And then
First
Apocalypse
Class
was even
a,
worse.
ugh.
And then Apocalypse was even worse.
Yeah, First Class was a like shot in the dark that they were just hoping would succeed.
Oh my
and it
god,
didn't. Like it did. It was a good movie, and you're just sitting there going, "Okay, do that again." And they did, and you're like, "Oh,
Oh, we got Bryan Singer back. No, you kind of not really. He did something. He definitely made something.
So I'm cool if they reboot everything. And again, like people online are like, we'll actually get like a decent Cyclops again because Marvel's in charge. Like he'll be an actual leader.
You could
not
have
just,
you could have a
whiny
relationship
crybaby.
between Spider-Man and Kitty Pryde.
Yeah, I know. Go all ultimate with it. Oh my god.
He's already
possibilities.
The movies are already kind of loosely based off the Ultimate Comics, anyways.
Very loosely now, but yeah.
But it's
But that's well, and then even someone posted a thing, and it was the Just Friends movie with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
They posted that, but it was Deadpool, and it's just not Just Friends, so it's Deadpool with Spider-Man like kissing him on the cheek, and everybody's like, yes, this is the movie we now get. I like Ryan.
And then
Reynolds.
Deadpool would be the only person who could make jokes like, "Oh, I guess someone paid enough money."
Right, and but that's what I mean.
So
Like,
pays our bills.
well, and that's if they keep him R-rated, which is good.
Yeah.
That's cool. So keep him R-rated. All of a sudden, if they do start a Marvel R brand to bring R-rated stuff to the big screen, all of a sudden we might be able to now get
The Punisher might
the
graduate
Punisher
from
to-
Netflix to might graduate from Netflix to.
That's
real
what I mean.
life.
We can move him up. We can start moving some of those characters up to.
Moon Knight.
I know. Like we
Is-
get a
is it
Marvel.
crazy?
We could get a Marvel
Is it
Knights movie. Never mind a
We do Ghost
Netflix
Rider.
special. Yeah.
Yeah, because they are moved. They're well. I mean,
And again, not to say
They
that
did-
all these movies should be R-rated,
no.
but giving
more
a
adult.
but giving yes a
Blade.
director the freedom.
Blade.
But Blade's
Get-
been back for a while.
Get Wesley Snipes again.
No. I think you, once again, you recast that.
Yeah,
Yeah, you might have to recast.
but that's the thing. Like, bring these movies in and just tell the directors like, go hard. We'll see what we get. If we get a R-rated R movie, we get a rated R movie. If we get a PG,
Do what you
13
want,
rating,
as long as it fits.
as long as it
With
fits into
it.
the MCU, we're good.
Yeah.
And you can't obviously bring Spider-Man in like swearing up a storm.
So
No.
But then Deadpool can also
Because
do
it'd be out of
that.
character.
Right, and Deadpool can do that lovely switch back down to PG-13
And then make a joke.
I'm
about
so
it.
and make a joke about it.
this entire Fox deal is throwing a wrench in a lot of plans that they probably had ever since the beginning of.
Oh, probably.
Probably.
Because I'm watching Agents of Shield right now. Spoilers, that's part of my thing that I'm watching.
Oh.
There's some weird shit that's happening on that show. Some weird
Are you
freaking.
surprised?
No, this is crazier than what I expected. It's them going into space is just a fraction of what the crazy things that. Have you read it?
No, I
Okay, but like
last episode I saw had Ghost Rider show up.
But yeah, like at the end of that season
Last
was.
one was.
Oh no, the beginning of that season.
No, I'm saying the end
I
of
know
that
the end of
season,
that season, they go
is
to
them
space.
they go into space. But that's just the fractionist of like, wait, what? That it's more. If this show does not tie into the rest of the Marvel movies, it never will at this point.
Well, the show always tied in. The movies just refused to acknowledge the show.
Yes.
Both. If
There wasn't enough time in the
if
movies.
if this does not tie in with the rest of the movies and back and forth, it never will.
It won't.
It never will.
Because Feige doesn't like what's his face who runs the TV division.
Yes.
Moron.
Yeah, he's had random
What's-
hits.
What's
He-
his? What's his?
um,
Jeff Loeb.
He's had random hits.
What a dick.
I know you don't like him. He's had random hits.
He does. He lucks out because he
Hires the right-
someone hires the right people.
He hires the right. He brings on the right people. Yes.
Yeah.
Every once in a while.
Every
but
once in a while, something good happens.
And right now, Agents of Shield is in that like it could be something incredibly cool.
Yeah. So
But-
we'll see.
But it-
Sword.
Well,
They can. I don't.
They could now. It's cosmic.
They.
so Disney, the only thing they don't own now is the Hulk franchise as a whole.
Namor, I think, is another one.
Namor is
Namor?
the other
Yeah,
one. Namor, yeah.
yeah.
They
so
own Namor, don't they?
no, he's part of the Universal shtick. So they don't own Hulk. They don't own She-Hulk. They
Yeah.
don't own Namor, and they don't officially own Spider-Man.
Wow.
You'd have to think though, at some point, this has triggered warning lights with Sony and be like,
Sony's moronic if they do not
Just
jump
sell
in on
them.
this now. I don't even care if they just sign a permanent deal going like, listen,
forever.
you continue
We
making...
saw what you
Because
did here.
the Spider-Man deal is not permanent.
No,
Oh.
it's only for so many... It's
So I
for
think it's 3 Spider-Man still.
3 Spider-Man movies, and then, yeah.
And
however
whatever-
much they can use Spider-Man
Before
within
the
that
third
time.
one,
Yeah.
yes. So if they just never make a third Spider-Man movie, that's the other clause.
Yeah.
Just keep adding them as a second.
But Sony can make those Spider-Man movies. They just gave Disney permission to step aboard and help out.
Yes. Just that's so generous.
So generous of Sony to let them do that. But that's what I mean. So it's there's still a couple outliers out there, but and then you have the Venom movie. Now what do you do with the
Yeah, I don't.
I would love to see Venom in the MCU now that you have Wolverine in the MCU and Deadpool in the MCU and
I would love to see Secret Wars.
sure.
I would love to see Secret.
And if we're going
Wars.
cosmic, I mean, holy heck,
That's the right angle to go.
everybody's kind of
So
hoping.
here's the big question:
How do you bring people in?
the House of instead of House of M,
Reverse.
House of I?
Yeah. No more Inhumans. They're causing too many continuity errors.
Goodbye.
I don't know. I think a lot
Watch
of
as after Avengers 4 literally reboots to Iron Man 1.
I think a lot of Captain Marvel is gonna have to play in a lot of stuff changing now because she's based in the '90s. So seeing some of that stuff happen, I feel like people have done the right thing on the internet saying how to bring even the Fantastic Four in is they were doing experiments in like the 60s, trying to replicate like something that Pym was doing.
How about just super soldier serum again? Like just
but they saw the Pym particle happening, so they were trying to explore like the negative zone or like smaller, and they've been trapped in the negative zone where they haven't aged or this or that in so long. And from the 60s is different from again Captain America coming back from, World War II. That kind of stuff. Yeah. So all of a sudden, Reed Richards has been gone for
they're not
40, 50 years.
Yeah, they're not beyond keeping characters the same age if there's a reason to keep them that.
But all of a sudden, like that's not a bad way of bringing the Fantastic Four back in. No. Or you start them off like they did in the Ultimates. They're young people. Like the Fan Four Stick movie got that part not bad, where they were younger people who were brought into a brain trust. Unfortunately, they were morons with that, where they should have been at the Baxter Building the whole time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Working as people like scientists and seeing them like there's a better way of doing that story, but bringing them in as younger people isn't a horrible idea.
To be fair, I fell asleep most of the movies.
That movie was bad. It was. the concept, like it based around the Ultimate Comics, where yes, Reed Richards was brought in because he was good at what he did.
Yeah. Yes.
And he was young, and they wanted to bring all these prodigies into the same place and have them work together. That's not a bad way of pulling that off.
Yeah.
I don't think you bring Victor Von Doom does not have to be a piece of this in any way, shape, or form for a very long time. Mole Man is a great place to start with the Fantastic Four.
There's other ones, I can't remember who though.
But that he is. Mole Man's an iconic villain. Bring him in.
But
I would like to see.
But for a first an origin movie for the Fantastic Four coming into the MCU, start him off with Mole Man. Bring him.
Okay, so while we're on the topic of getting directors and people in,
yes.
Kevin Feige just got the news that he can officially do this stuff.
Yes.
Who does he bring into his board meeting of directors and
Gunn. Who's already doing
the Russo brothers?
Russo
brothers.
Yeah.
Who else do you bring in? Do you call up Joss Whedon again?
You could try.
Yeah,
Do you call Joss Whedon back up?
Depends on when you're doing X-Men.
But see, DC's also revamping their whole thing, so you don't know if they're going to.
DC's screwed.
Yeah, DC's.
But you don't know if they're going to do the Batgirl thing anymore, right?
Mm-hmm. Right, they could drop back. But he could do Batgirl and X-Men.
Yeah, directors not as exclusive as actors are.
No,
I mean, look at J.J. Abrams. He went from Star Trek to Star Wars. So.
Yeah.
I think. But what other directors
I honestly for an X-Men. Oh man, you know what? And just to give him a freaking shot because I think it would be fun. Kevin Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Just for shits and giggles.
But just in the board meeting, just be brainstorming
Kevin Smith. He would
what
bring
can we
the best
do now?
ideas.
What can we do now?
Okay, so this is how I see it. Patton Oswalt, obviously.
Yes. I would even almost say Robert Downey Jr.
You know what? At this point,
at some point in time,
he's important enough.
Yeah,
bring him in.
Him and Chris Hemsworth as well.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
Basically, anyone that they gave the full script to for Avengers: Infinity War.
Yeah, they could come in.
Not Tom Holland.
Yeah, not Tom Holland.
Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo was like, "I'm sorry, this is the Variety photo shoot that I leaked out months ago." Anyone they gave full script to.
It's hard to just.
Gunn's already in.
Yeah, Gunn.
Because he's planning Phase 4, essentially, for it. Him and Kevin are planning Phase 4 together, because it is supposed to be more cosmic. That's why I say, they've probably been sitting there going, Kevin's been going to him, we're going to get the Silver Surfer back. Just write it in. We're making a Silver Surfer movie.
We'll do it.
We'll do it.
Do you, as far as Ryan Reynolds, even?
No.
I don't think you bring him in the movie. I don't think you bring him into these.
In these discussions? Yeah.
No, not yet.
Not yet. I think this is a Kevin thing and a Russo brothers thing because they've helped.
Russo brothers,
the Gun.
James Gunn.
I think you try.
For sure.
Try and bring Whedon.
I think you call Whedon.
I would text him. I wouldn't call him.
Hey
Whedon, we got a meeting next week. We want to meet you in a meeting about this thing that happened.
Not sure if you heard. kind of big news. Maybe you want to come in.
At some point, I want to visualize Kevin Feige's and Joss Whedon's relationship is Tony Stark and Captain America. He gave him a cell phone to be like, if you need me, here's my contact information.
Well, and again, Joss quit because of the overall hierarchy of stuff going on, and it had nothing to do. And all of them did. We've talked about that ages ago.
Oh, of course.
And all of a sudden, Kevin was the only one in charge, and everybody's like, I will do 8,000 more films for you. Because they all like Kevin.
Yeah.
And even
so,
Joss goes, I might consider going back.
And so, yes, exactly. Like,
I think he would.
You text him up.
Those 4, I think he would.
Joss had a good run with the X-Men, which
And
is, I think, why he's an okay guy to bring back for. Just talks
Just
of
for
how
X-Men.
But how to bring
Yes.
them in.
Or even Fantastic Four. Get him.
But James Gunn, I think, can handle
yeah.
Fantastic Four.
He can
And then
I
the
wouldn't
Russo
put-
brothers can bring it. Like,
I wouldn't
so you
put
have
him
your,
behind a Fantastic Four movie. I think what he's doing with Guardians is totally his style. That's his thing. But you bring in a different director. But in terms
Oh,
of
yeah,
like
you bring in a different director.
and different writing staff, but just brainstorming like what they want to do for the next ever.
Yep.
Those,
Well, because you have to start thinking now.
'Cause
We're
the
again,
Russo
we're
brothers-
thinking 3 or 4 phases ahead again.
Because you have to think about like the Russo brothers, as good
We'll
as
be
a
in our-
director as
we'll
they
be in our
are,
50s, but
I know.
as good as a director as those guys are, the Russo brothers, I don't see them as massive comic book nerds as much as James Gunn or even Kevin
but they
Feige. Like, but they know how to make a damn good movie.
They do.
Is what is the big piece. Is like they know like proper directions.
See, that's my thing. Like, every person I think of to bring into these meetings, it would help direct them in the proper direction, and not necessarily even just.
And that's why you get
directors.
someone like Joss Whedon or Kevin Smith.
And that's my thing, though. I think of Kevin Smith, and I even think Dan Harmon, who is like, a giant man baby nerd.
I think Dan Harmon's.
He's too.
He's very low key
Yeah.
in this all. Like,
But they brought him in for Doctor Strange.
what did he do in Doctor Strange?
He helped guide them through some of the like tangly iddly biddly
I don't
bits.
know.
Yeah,
But that's what I mean, like-
that's you want someone.
I know, but if you're having a round table as to where do you go from here,
Yeah.
bring in big nerds and just have that giant discussion.
And not even
of,
just
like,
big nerds, but big nerds who have like weight in sort of. I've directed this. I've written the script for this.
I'm thinking you bring in even some of the like.
As crazy as it sounds, I would bring Edgar Wright in.
Bring him.
Like it's like I know we have our differences with the Ant-Man movie.
His
and-
thing is he wanted the Ant-Man movie to not be connected to the MCU. So, I mean,
Yeah.
he might not be the best guy. You're like, how should we connect the Fantastic Four to the MCU? And he goes, you make their own movie that has nothing to do with anybody else.
Yeah. No.
Who was the last actors that did it? Those guys.
Bring them in. We shall just reboot that series. We shall take from the point where they
I
go.
don't know for whatever reason it gets delayed forever.
Yeah.
Because Edgar Wright knows his comic books.
He does.
He's
I just
very-
don't know how well he'd play along. And
Yeah,
that's the
like-
thing. Like, Joss Whedon, at least, he's written comic books, so he gets that collaborative
Do you
piece.
even bring in Michael
Yeah.
Bendis?
No.
He's not working for Marvel anymore.
Oh, he is okay.
No,
He's DC.
He's DC.
Ah, it's too bad.
Not too bad for DC.
Yeah.
His writing's gone downhill in a very long time.
Well,
But that's my thing. Like,
But like he knew
There are
this
so many
stuff,
possibilities.
there are a lot of possibilities now of who you.
Yeah.
But I think you give
It's-
Joss a call. I honestly, just the way Kevin Smith has written comics,
Kevin Smith is a good choice, but I don't know how that conversation would come up naturally.
I don't know.
It's like, hey, Kevin.
his phone's waiting to ring. He has
He's
no
just
money
like,
left
he's just
anymore.
like,
Yeah.
come on,
Yeah, he's like-
Feige, come on.
He worked on Die Hard. He directed the Die Hard movie.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Disney owns Die Hard now.
That's not.
They
Yeah.
own Kevin Smith.
Nah, well.
That's how it works. As long
Kevin-
as Disney owns a
As long
franchise
as you've
and the
done a
actors
movie for
inside,
them.
yes, they own your soul.
But yeah, that's sort of my like thought process of now. Like, what do they do from here on in? Who do they?
That's so complicated though.
It is very complicated.
But like I said, you're now planning.
Forever.
It's again though. We had Phase 1 come through and finish with the Avengers, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, Phase 2 is going to be," and we already have Phase 3 like in our brains.
we can look at what we can do without half of our stuff.
We know that James Gunn has been working on Phase 4 and planning Phase 4
Right.
for the next piece. So now it's they got all of these things back. What do we shift out of Phase 4 to
Or-
plug into Phase 4 now?
Right. Or move something
Negative
ahead, or whatever
Negative
they
zone.
can.
Right, bring in the negative zone at this point.
And there's a villain, I can't remember who it is. Annihilus?
Sure.
I think that's who it is from Negative Zone.
Uh,
He's a big villain.
But again, you can bring in so many from all of this stuff.
If you're going cosmic though.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, Phase 4 was supposed to be cosmic already, so what do you shift out of rotation or shift forward or backwards to fit in other stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Which means you're already thinking Phase 5.
Mm-hmm.
Which means, honestly, you're thinking beginnings of
okay,
Phase
so
6.
here's my crazy like tinfoil hat theory. They don't even
They sell it all.
They don't even consider phases anymore. They just do them. There's no sense doing phases anymore. The
I think
amount of
phase is
the amount of
broken
property
down,
the amount of properties that they now own, it would be useless to try and cram them into a single phase.
No, you just
Think
extend the phases, maybe.
I think you just make your phases maybe a bit bigger. So
Instead
like
of going to
phase
5 movies.
phase 1 to 3 is the Thanos phase.
Yes. But like it's just they have so much stuff to work with now that
Yep.
phases would be selling what they have short.
In my mind, it's like you think of Buffy the Vampire Slayer season where you have the big bad.
Yeah.
That's a phase.
Yeah.
So yes, your phase isn't just 5 or 6
Would be a
movies
season.
anymore.
It's one big long arc.
It's 10 years.
Right. So it's like, oh, I can't think of like that's just my that's my
So like
thought
phase
process.
4, they say they're concentrating on cosmic stuff. That's cool because your big bad at the end is going to be a cosmic baddie.
Say Galactus for
Sure.
whatever for whatever reason.
Sure. Because if you're gonna deal with Silver Surfer,
And then you got to think about certain arcs too. Like, do you want to do Secret Wars? Do you want to do another Civil War? Do you want to?
don't do another Civil War.
Civil War 2.
No.
No, I don't think they do a Civil War 2. But I'm just
They
thinking.
did.
I'm just
They did
thinking of like
comics.
arcs,
They did
and then you can do
comics.
Avengers versus X-Men at some point in time too.
Sure.
So, but to
But
do
they had to bring
but
Dr. Doom in.
to do Avengers
Yes.
versus X-Men, you have to properly introduce the Phoenix Force first, seeing as how that's the big catalyst.
Yeah, but that's
For
what I
the
mean.
entire
Like
movie.
I think
Or that comic arc.
your phases either get longer now, or you just call this like the Thanos phase, the Galactus phase, the
Yeah,
like you pick your big bad, you build up to that big bad over.
I think
20 movies.
See, I don't. I think they need to play the longer game in regards to just
They
like.
can't play that long though.
No, I'm not saying like this chunk and chunk. They need to like tier themselves. Like it's the way that the Marvel comics works is that not everything happens singularly at one time. Why not have a Thanos phase? Not Thanos. Why not have a Galactus phase alongside a Secret Wars phase?
Because you're also getting the non-comic book people who have to watch movies and understand what's going on. The Star Wars movies, like Episode 8 coming out this weekend, I had to pretty much instruct half of my staff room. Because they're all like, well, the one that came out last year wasn't Episode 8.
Yeah,
You're going-
when they stopped numbering those, that got weird.
Well, no, but you're sitting there
you
going...
get people confused.
It gets people confused because you're sitting there going, no, that was Rogue One, so that comes before Episode 4. So if you're watching them in like chronological order of like how the story goes, 1, 2, 3, Rogue One, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and they're like, well, that's just stupid. Why would they do
And
that?
then
So
you-
that's why they do the phases. Is
I-
You're
for
going to
the
get Han
layman.
Solo thrown in,
Right.
to probably before Rogue One.
Yes. So 1,
then
2,
Han Solo.
1,
Solo.
2,
2,
3, Han Solo,
Rogue
Rogue
One.
One. Yes. Oh, and then 1, 2, 3, Han Solo,
and then the-
Obi-Wan Kenobi, Rogue One.
And then the
1,
Luke, and then a new trilogy as well.
Right, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Yeah, New Trilogy, nothing to do with Skywalkers.
Anyways, that was sort of my just like
That's your...
light bulb.
I get it. You're trying to like
You're taking a long
multi-phase.
game.
There's just like
You're
like,
multi-phasing.
Again, like if you look at comic books, it's never just one comic book line. It's multiple at the same point, and
Sort of.
not even happening at the same time.
But they've been getting out of that too with all the big events that happen every year.
Mhm.
Like that's the problem in comic books now is it's like all of a sudden Civil War 2 comes around and every comic is wrapped around that event for the year. And it's like, all right.
I just think phases sells what they have short.
It does, but it sells.
It sells.
That's my thing. It's to us. Yeah, they could release a Marvel movie every month.
Yes.
All
We'd
of
be
them going in a
super
different
happy.
direction. We'd be like, yeah, all right. So this one goes this way, and that one tears. Like we'd have the graphs on the wall.
We'd have a
Right
little
behind
line.
it.
Yeah.
a
We
little
take out
line.
this TV
Okay,
here.
Yeah.
and just have a
Oh,
big
this
Marvel
movie
for
just
it.
got announced here, so that means this ties
This
over
ties
to
into this one, and that
which
ties
affects
over to
this
this
movie.
one. Oh, there was a news clip in this one that goes to this one. We'd be down with that. The rest of like my staff room would be like, so that Spider-Man movie that came out, and I'd be like, right, attaches to the Daredevil movie that came out, which
And then-
attaches to the Ghost Rider movie that came out over
you have to
here.
remember,
But you
this
have to
movie
remember,
does-
you have to watch this one before you watch this one.
But you have to remember that was in a different universe, so that character doesn't when he jumps in
Yeah.
from that universe into the kids.
Complicated.
That's why there's two Spider-Mans, and then you get Spider-Verse.
Sony's already doing Spider-Verse with their animated Spider-Man movies.
Oh,
So.
that looks really good too.
I liked it
loves-
until he took his mask off.
Really, I liked all of it.
Like I dug how Spider-Man, because it wasn't quite 3D.
When I first showed that to my fiance, she's like, "This is a game." I'm like, "No."
Like I was digging how
It
it
looks
looked.
good.
Like it was 3D, but it was flat.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he took his mask off, and it looked like really cheap animation with like the giant eyes and the like.
But I'm okay with that.
I didn't like.
I'm
that.
super okay with that because
Have
that's what they're going to differentiate themselves with the rest of the MCU going
Yeah,
on.
well, whatever.
I'm totally okay with that movie. You also, I know you don't like Miles Morales.
That's not the right Miles Morales, anyways. Though.
It's not. What?
No, it's a different one. It's not the one based in.
I'm so confused.
See,
There's like 12 Spider-Men in that movie. It's the
12
dawn of the Spider-Verse. There's like.
I want the awkward moment where that movie connects to the rest of the MCU for some awkward reason.
Because the whole point to Miles Morales is Peter Parker dies and he becomes the new
Yes.
Spider-Man. There's going to be pretty much they've said Peter Parker in their Spider-Man movie, fighting alongside Miles Morales and a ton of other Spider-Men.
The fact that you can say
Spider-Pig.
Spider-Man, the fact that you can say Spider-Man,
Spider-Woman.
One of them-
They count as the men part. They're all just under the one umbrella. Spider people.
that awkward moment when
People.
Spider they.
I'm okay with just a Spider-Gwen movie, please.
That'd be wicked. I'd be down with that.
Like as an alternate universe, I would love to see all of that entire comic line.
The last funny thing I saw on Reddit today too was the Disney Infinity community. That's like everybody still talks every once in a while. They're like, can you imagine like all the Infinity figures we could have now? Because they're like, someone's like, I can already imagine the Simpsons as like Disney Infinity characters.
In a little xenomorph.
Oh,
Attaches to everybody's faces.
a little face hugger.
That's his little special ability. It's
Ability?
just to, like, to throw little face huggers on everyone.
Yeah, little predator.
Yes.
Totally, I would play that.
Yep. I'm waiting for all the Lego Dimension stuff to drop
They're
down.
still
in
not.
price. I know. No one's clearing them out yet.
I know.
Because I want to get my Slimer from
I
Ghostbusters.
just want like stuff. I just
Well,
want,
that's I know.
want
So
them.
I was walking, like my wife and I went to look at some stuff, and I'm like, yeah, these are done now too. And she's like, so the only one left is like the Nintendo stuff. And I'm like, kind of. I'm like, one of them's taking a break. But even the amiibos have gone up so much, like there's no chance I'm even picking those up. But I'm looking at the Lego ones, and she's like, "Well, but you don't own this game." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I have the
set. I can just
I
throw
have
the
the
disc away.
but I have the Ghostbusters thing at home, like the car."
Yeah.
And I'm like, and it comes with the 4 original Ghostbusters, but not Slimer. And she's like, "Oh." And I'm like, "So when these go on sale, it'll be cheaper than
buying
trying to find him online or trying to buy him
the
as a
Firehouse, right?
or the Firehouse for $500, you know."
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there and she's like, "Oh, well, that makes way more sense." And I'm like, I'm not going to buy like 6,000 of these because they've gone on sale. It's legitimately to like fill out the ones we've bought with characters that actually fit.
I wonder if there's any CW Flash ones, because they have the levels.
I was looking at them the other day. There's some cool like minifigs out there, and I'm like, "Dang."
Yeah, they put a lot of effort into that set.
They got a lot of
mileage. They got a lot of mileage.
They got a lot of licenses. I didn't know they actually.
That series or that set and game went.
Wait for Disney
farther.
to buy Lego.
Who owns Lego? Universal.
Lego.
Oh, I thought someone else.
Lego.
Lego owns Lego.
Okay.
Either way, big news.
Wow, that was yes. We definitely rounded out.
If you are watching live and our thing's not popping up, the score in the Oilers game is still 0-0.
Yeah.
That's okay because that's because Talbot is in there.
It's matinee. We don't do well with matinee games.
It's because Talbot is in the net right now.
Except our last game was a blowout for them, which means we're going to win this one. That's how our games
How did we
have
lose
been
last
going.
time?
4-0.
Yeah,
But that was a really good team, though.
that was a good team.
So
Either who.
yes, thanks for joining us today.
Yes.
I realized that today's was very back end heavy.
Well, but we knew that.
We did
We
that.
did.
We
We
did
did.
that on purpose. I tried to start with the big news first, but
I just
No,
didn't.
you want to.
I think that
I said the sandwich idea, but you.
I don't want.
I hate the sandwich.
Sandwich is dumb. We start with the bad stuff first.
I hate the sandwich.
You always eat the bad food first, and then you have the good food later.
No
or you
one
just don't
listens
cook
to
bad
me.
food.
What if you're going to like a restaurant or a
Then I
buffet?
don't
You
order
pick.
bad
You
food.
save what you want.
Okay,
to
if you go to a
last.
buffet and you pick bad food, that's your own
Okay,
fault.
that's true.
But you could have a bunch of favorites. But
Okay, what if it's like
favorites
a,
amongst your favorites?
Bacon.
What if it's like a cater? Yes.
Well, yeah.
What if it's a
always
catered
eat the
wedding
bacon last.
and the meal comes to you and it's all set plates?
Oh, I hate that.
I'm not saying that's what I'm planning, but I'm just saying that's just.
I don't hate that, but yeah, no, I understand that one. But then I just send it back. I don't eat it. If there's like roast pepper on my plate, I'm like,
Eat it.
no.
He doesn't like cooked vegetables.
Okay, roast peppers and like, like a fajita are okay.
You basically can't have to see it. You don't want to see it. I think that's your
Part of it's a texture thing. Like eating just a pepper that's slimy and gross
Not slimy and gross. It's delicious and roasted.
No.
I'm more with Tony on this one.
In a quesadilla, though,
You don't see it. And it's mixed with the other stuff, too.
it mixes well
It's got
enough
lots
with
of cheese
everything.
and
That's the
chicken
thing. I
or
think
beef,
the
even beans.
texture of it mixes with the cheese. So you're like, I am getting pepper flavor, but it tastes like I'm just eating cheese texturally.
He doesn't like cooked vegetables.
Asparagus I like cooked. But it can't be too cooked. Like, it can't cook that
Just right.
Okay, so what if we wrapped asparagus with bacon?
Again, I'd eat that. I eat cooked asparagus.
Oh, okay,
So, like, if I go to a steak place, I'll have, like, they put, the asparagus on your mashed potatoes. I will have the asparagus.
Pepper wrapped in bacon.
No.
Okay,
Why would I
what
do
kind
that?
of universe are you in?
I don't know.
A hot pepper wrapped in bacon.
I would just eat hot pepper.
I'm very
You could
particular.
totally do
But see, that's
pepper
like,
wrap.
if you bring cooked carrots to something,
You
I'm not
could
eating
do that
cooked
with
carrots.
anything.
I don't care how you
What about
prepare cooked
potatoes?
carrots. Potatoes, yes, I eat cooked potatoes.
Roasted potatoes.
Any kind of potato I will
Okay,
eat.
so we're
Except a raw potato.
We're getting there.
Okay, well, I'm with you on that. Raw potatoes confusing.
Well, people do it.
Anyway.
Okay, so
Either who,
thanks for joining in today.
check us
Yes.
out on our post-credit show where we talk about all of the games we've been
Things.
playing, movies we've been watching, which aren't Star Wars,
Yeah, that we can all share that in common
Yes.
right now.
and other assorted nerd stuff we have been doing.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Check us out at barrelrollnews.com while you're waiting for us to come back.
Watch our backlog on YouTube as well. There's stuff there. Subscribe. Hit the bell icon.
Yeah, just you know what?
Comment.
Just hit that subscribe button. Just like that subscribe
Yeah,
button.
yeah. And then rewatch.
Actually, just click it once because if you click it twice, you'll unsubscribe. And we
No,
don't
what
want
about
that.
3 times?
3 times is the number.
3 is the magic number.
5 times.
That
That's too
also
many.
would work.
I would forget after the 4th click, and then
You would just be like,
yes.
either way.
I can only hold down
Thanks
so
for
many
watching. We'll
clicks.
see you in about 5 minutes.
Bye.
Bye.